It's safe to say that Sam Fay has been one of the most exciting prospects to come through our academy. The Scot breaking into the under-21s national team, 17 years old. I really wouldn't bet against him getting capped for Scotland soon. Why am I mentioning all of this? We've had our youth intake. We have another Scottish player. And in fact, that man is instantly now our hot prospect. David Gilliland. Great name. He made an assist on his debut at the age of 15. And in fact, today, March 22nd, get it in the diary, it's his birthday. Assuming there is a video coming out on the 22nd of March in real life, you're all required to wish him a happy birthday on the big day. Might be a little bit weird to wish him happy birthday since he will be 9 years old in 2024, but here is our youth intake. There are some other good players here. Firstly, we've got Henry Cartwright, a player who has some good potential, but when you actually look at his current ability, it's one of those players where if he develops, amazing, but he looks a long way from being the finished article. Not even really sure what his best role is. He's a winger with 7 crossing and no mentals, but he can jump high. 8 pace on the wing. No, I don't like it. Glasgow is another player that we've picked up. This guy just has some really obvious gaps in his game. The obvious gap being he can't bloody run. Yeah, and he can't really attack either. 5 composure, 4 finishing, 6 off the ball. I want to say deep line playmaker, maybe, because of his teamwork and technique, but truth be told, there's some pretty big gaps in his game. Will Metcalf might be the best of the bunch outside of our big man, who I am going to cover in a bit more detail in a moment. He is a very, very good player. You can see here, decent acceleration, some good finishing, really nice passing. Kind of wish his vision was a little bit higher, but he looks like he could have the skeleton, at least, of a good advanced playmaker. Nice to see that he's super consistent. And then of the players listed as top talents, the fourth and final player is Cooper Price. This guy, a centre-back who can play left-back and right-back, can play with either foot to a reasonable degree. The downside, low determination, injury prone. It is annoying. Beyond those players I've just talked about, there's a couple of other players here who I'm probably going to offer contracts to, but ultimately, yeah, the big man is David. As already mentioned, he got an assist at the age of 15. He's now turned 16 today. I might have been stupid to throw him instantly in the first team since we didn't win the game that he made his debut in. But to be fair, he did get a 7.0 rating in that game. He himself didn't have a bad game, and in spite of the fact that maybe he's lacking a little bit of pace, his raw technical ability, his well-rounded passing vision and flair make me think that he could be a really good creative force in our team. And according to our staff, he's got a lot of bloody potential. Also, super consistent. We love to see it. Anyway, now that I've talked all about that good stuff, we'll run the intro and then talk about the bad stuff. We've played 2 league games since you were last here. Today we play Sunderland, who are 1 point and 1 place behind us. And then after that, we take on the team who are top. Yeah, it's been rough lately. Yes, folks, how is it going? Welcome back to Park to Prem. A warm welcome back as well. It is Monday. Today is episode number 60, and today we're heading towards that crunch point in the season. The youth intake's been good. Obviously, David will be in the match squad for our first game of today's episode, and, well, we are currently in 6th. Last episode, we got some massive wins, didn't we, against Stoke and Charlton. I thought with those results there, we were going to be a surefire thing for the playoffs, given the fact we had some fairly winnable games coming up. Neither of them we've won. The first was this draw against Plymouth, 2-1 up in this game. In the end, we threw away a 3-1 lead. Really, really disappointing. To be fair, though, Plymouth were blooming good in this game. I mean, look at their XG. They deserve to get more from this game. Rode our luck, didn't really turn up. Disappointing game. And if 3-3 was disappointing, this result against Middlesbrough, even more so. Middlesbrough, of course, a team that we've sold many a player to over the years during our time here at Rugby Town. In this game, 3-2 it finished. To be fair, they were 3-1 up in this game. We got a goal back through Toby Hines. Sadly, we couldn't get that third goal. I did decide to start Gilliland in this game, and, well, watch the boy here. This is the first of assist of, I'm sure, many. He played it through to Hines. Lovely finish there, but yeah, that was all we could muster up in terms of a comeback. So 2 games, no wins. And with that, we now find ourselves 6th place, but there's 4 teams within 2 points of us behind. There is basically a big free-for-all for this one playoff spot. Sunderland, who we take on today, also have a game in hand. So a loss to them in this first game is disastrous, and you'd feel like we absolutely have to beat Nottingham Forest in the final game to even stand a chance of making the playoffs. Nottingham Forest, 5 defeats all season. Yeah, not sure why I thought it was a good idea to come back to play them today. Anyway, given the fact there was only the youth intake and 2 games to talk about, we're going to get straight into this first game against Sunderland. I appreciate the last few episodes, especially of this season, have been a little on the longer side. Today's going to be a shorter one, so for those of you with a 20-minute lunch break, I've maybe got you covered if you watch at 1.5 times speed. That is unless something really dramatic happens, which I sincerely hope it doesn't. I want to win this game nice and comfortably. Now, good news for us, no major injuries to speak of, although you may notice Ngoma dropped down to the bench. He is a player who in his last 5 games really hasn't turned up, and whilst I don't want to say he is the reason we've not won our 2 most recent games, he was a passenger in those matches, and a player who maybe feels hard done by to get dropped for those last 2 games. It's Jose Luis Colque here. This guy, when he's played really, really well. And with Ngoma not turning up and Colque not featuring in the last 2 games we failed to win, having been really involved in the games we did win prior to that, yeah, I'm sorry to the strongest Bolivian I know. He's back in the team now. I hope he doesn't ring me out. Elsewhere in the team, though, we are at full strength. I am going with Oscar alongside Hines in the final third. Madder is going to be sat on the bench. With Madder, I've still not decided what the role is for him. I feel like he and Hines are really battling it out for that starting striker spot in the team. You can kind of see the difference between them here. Hines just a little bit more of a creative player who can bring others in. If we look at the statistics for the 2 players, I don't know if there's necessarily a world of difference. They're 2 very, very evenly matched players. In fact, their average rating is 0.04 apart. And considering Madder has only really been playing games during that really good run of form we had in February onwards, I feel like maybe his rating is inflated by the fact he was just involved in wins. Sunderland, by the way, on the other hand, are struggling just a little bit. This is definitely a winnable game. They slipped up at home against Wrexham midweek. They're taking us on here. They actually went on a really good FA Cup run, which is why they've played fewer games than those around them. Like I already mentioned, if we lose this game here, we would go 2 points behind them and they'd have a game in hand on us. We'd basically be 5 points behind them, playing Nottingham Forest in the next game. We have to win this one. The contrast in emotion between last episode and this episode is pretty drastic, to be fair. Last episode, we've been on this really good winning run against lesser teams, and then we managed to follow it up with 2 wins that we didn't necessarily expect to get against the likes of Charlton. Today's games are equally as challenging, but having had a reality check, obviously against Plymouth down in 20th and Middlesbrough in 13th, it's impossible not to come into today's game with a little bit of trepidation. Okay, well, to make things worse, I was already nervous. There's a kickoff highlight. Is it going to be a dreamy start for us, or am I going to have my head in my hands? João Victor laying it wide to Ricky D. Back in at that right-back spot. He is continuing to hold down that position. Right there, though, he's not covered himself in glory, but we're going to try and press high up the pitch here. Force a turnover in possession if we can. Clark, lovely build-up play, but Gasperi reads it well. Colque here. Can he make something magical happen? The Bolivian gives it back to NDIA. Sanchez, Ricky D pulls the trigger, hits the woodwork, and we almost found ourselves ahead inside a minute. It's cleared out for a throw-in. There could be an immediate another chance. NDIA in the wide area, lays it to Sanchez. Inside, Faye, lovely build-up play here. Is there a finish? No, the shot blocked on the swivel. Okay, really lively start in this game. We look pretty good. Can we follow up what's been a decent flurry of attacks with a very good corner? I'll tell you what, we've only gone and done it. Gasperi, the man who basically is our set-piece weapon. I feel like I don't big him up enough. I feel like with the new set-piece system in Football Manager, gone are the days where you can easily get a centre-back like 15 goals if they're good at jumping. Gasperi, though, he is our battering ram. He chips in with a decent number. In fact, how many has he got this year now? I mean, he's got 7 goals in 35 games. That's pretty respectable. Okay, really good start against Sunderland here. They have had a few opportunities. They might craft one out here. Corner whipped in, João Victor, diving header to get it away. Back into the box, and you absolute imbecile, João Victor. You muppet. He's given away a penalty. Sunderland with a chance to respond from the spot. We've missed lots of penalties. Teams against us never miss penalties. Clark sends the keeper the wrong way. It's 1-1. Jack Clark stepped up, hit it into that top corner, and yeah, I mean, even if the keeper had gone the right way, don't think he stops that. Okay, throwing on the near side. I mean, we almost created something from this position previously. Can we do it again? Sanchez to Gasperi, back to Sanchez. João Victor shoots, and well, he's going to make amends for the penalty he gave away. That shot there was not making amends. That was not good. We got a free kick here. I don't know what the Sunderland Wolves doing. It's like they're getting ready to get picked up by a taxi after a night out. They're just a rabble. They have now got themselves in position. Sanchez, not going to be put off by their funny business. Only 3 players in the wall. Feels disrespectful to the Costa Rican. Sanchez, oh my word, he's gone across goal with that free kick, and it's ricocheted off the woodwork. That was actually a really good effort. And NDIA to throw it into Colke. It's back with NDIA. Can he get the ball in? Sanchez is there. NDIA. Colke. Options in the box. Could go on his own. Does go on his own. It's deflected in. I think it was a shot with his weaker right foot. Bit of fortune about it. Do we care? I'll tell you what, I'm here to tell you, we do not care. A little bit of build-up play on this near side. Nicely worked. Colke, though, picks the ball up there with a lot of work to do. Gets onto his right foot, shoots. And, yeah, okay, the deflection really has benefited us there. I'll hold my hand up my hands and say it. But like I said earlier, it doesn't matter how they go in. A goal is a goal, and we could have another one here. Ricky D throws it straight to Jack Clark. Not the best throwing I've seen from Ricky D. That won't make the kind of season-ending highlight reel, will it? Patterson for Sunderland. The keeper playing it long. Ricky D, though, reads it nicely. The fullback getting forward. Had a shocking throw-in. Can he deliver better here? It's all the way in. Oscar is there. It's an 18th goal of the season. We are 3-1 up. Sunderland not showing up today. Was nervous going into this game, but besides the penalty, they've really not done a great deal in this game. Ricky D doing Ricky D things, ball driven into the box, Hines dummies it, and Oscar has a tap in at the, well, I was going to say at the back post, it was just inside the 6-yard box. Keeper had no chance. Although, I mean, Sunderland, they're on the attack again. Last time they had a corner, they scored. Are they going to score? Directly from this one, they are. Okay, well, it's 3-2. That celebration was short-lived. So accustomed to it being us who's really good with the corners, but the ball was whipped in here, and was that Gasperi getting beaten in the air? It was. I'll tell you what, Gasperi doesn't get beaten in the air often. Okay, half-time in this game, 3-2 to the good. I think we deserve to be ahead. It's still, though, anyone's game. Sunderland, 2 shots on target, 2 goals. It's been one of those. I'm going to get shouty. I'm looking at the performances. I'm going to make some changes here. This might be mad. I might be cooking too hard here. I'm going to move Colke to play as a pressing forward. This guy can play as a striker. Don't necessarily think he's the ready-made pressing forward type, but given his recent form, more than happy to play him there. I'm going to take off Faye and Hines here. The players I'm going to bring on, Ngoma. He's going to have a point to prove, I hope. And elsewhere, I'm bringing in David. David is coming on for his live commentary debut here. 16 years old, got an assist on his debut, looking for a goal. If he was to score, I believe he would go down in the history books as our youngest ever goal scorer. There is a challenge laid out for him to try and make happen. I will now click on him so that we've really got attention drawn to him. He's not a small player, by the way, is David. He's quite tall in the match engine. Sunderland, through the middle, Kinski gets a hand to it. Wasn't tested in the first half. Has been tested there. First save of the game for him. We are rapidly approaching the hour mark here. João Victor is on a booking, which I do not love for the Brazilian. I feel like I might need to take him off, but well, I might be making more changes. If Jack Clark scores here, Kinski threw a bit of shade at him before. That save there, all is forgiven. What a stop that is. We do still have the corner to deal with, though. Sunderland on the front foot in this half. Ball whipped in. And I think that has hit the woodwork and gone out. The keeper might have even tipped it onto it. I need to pause and make changes, but another replay just starts immediately. Rig with the ball, now with Ollier for Sunderland. They have looked good in this second half. We are looking a bit slow here, there and everywhere. Ricky D needs to really, well, do some defending. Not exactly covering himself in glory. Jack Clark with a bit of time and space. Plays it inside to Rig. The shot is taken by Gabandi. And Sunderland make it 3-3. We've been here before this year. 3-3, I've seen so much as a scoreline. Ball in the wide area. Jack Clark working the space nightly. Rig just finds a load of space. João Victor caught napping, and Gabandi with a relatively simple finish at the end of it. Before kickoff can even happen, I've paused it. I'm making changes. João Victor is coming off for Masters. Elsewhere, what else do I even want to change at this point? Ricky D's not having the best of games. Martinez. I know I've not really trusted you lately. I'm trusting you here to come in and make a bit of a difference for us. Going to ask the players to play more direct, but get rid of pass into space and look for the overlap. Want us just to try and get the ball forward that little bit quicker in this game. Sunderland have come out in this second half, and they have been by far and away the better team. We have looked slow. And now, well, we need to try and steady things a little bit and then try and get the ball forward. There is 20 minutes left in this game. A draw, whilst not disastrous, would see us drop outside the playoff spots. Wrexham currently winning. 7 minutes, Sanchez. Cometh the man, cometh the moment. I'll tell you what, he's gone for the short trick play to Gillian, who didn't look like he was on the same wavelength. It's fallen to Martinez, the right back. And his shot cannons off the crossbar and goes out for a goal kick. That goal kick, though, is going to be taken by Patterson here. He's going to look to launch it long, and Kize wins a header. Can he win another? Sanchez to the rescue that time. Kolke with the ball. Lays it inside towards Gillian. The pass there was wayward, and now it's Gabandi bringing the ball forward. I'll tell you what, Sunderland, look how many players they've got in the box here. They've got 5 players to aim for. Rigg is one of them. His shot hits the woodwork, and Kize doesn't fully clear it. Masters Ngoma does get it away. Oh my word. There's 2 minutes left of this game, plus any added time. It could go either way. Sunderland are throwing so many players forward at this point. Eze for them on the near side. Plays it forward. Gabandi, he has a goal. He's through. 1-on-1, and I think the keeper has saved that. I'll tell you what, Kinski, the match rating doesn't reflect it. He's made some massive stops in this game to keep it at 3. I realise that sounds like a nonsensical sentence. It could have been a lot more than 3 against us. We've still got a corner to deal with here. Sunderland have looked threatening from these. This one is going to be whipped in. Gasperi nods it away. And how much added time is there going to be? 4 minutes. At this point, I almost feel grateful to hold on for a draw, but maybe there is one last chance. Ngoma, NDIA, Gillian, the youngster, dispossessed. Ngoma plays it inside. Kolke shoots into the side netting. That was the last chance of the game. It was actually a really good opportunity to snatch the win from nowhere, but in the end, after an action-packed and intense game, it's going to finish 3-3. That result there does see us drop out of the playoff spots. Wrexham take our place with their 2-1 win over Rotherham. Elsewhere, Brentford even on points with us. Sunderland still with that game in hand. Charlton and Stoke, who I thought we dispatched of last episode, all of a sudden, in 10th and 11th, they're competing for that 6th place spot as well. It is ridiculously close, and the reality is the likes of QPR, who we of course were promoted with last year, Norwich City and Ipswich, they're just casually looking over their shoulders. I think all 3 of those teams are lock-ins for the playoffs at the very least. That result there, not disastrous, but a tad disappointing. Tell you what else is disappointing, the fact that earlier I forgot to mention the takeover didn't happen. You know, the takeover thing that was rumoured? Yeah, that fell through. So we've still got Brian as chairman. Anyway, we have now got an international break, which I think is a fairly good thing. Should allow us to get some players back up to full fitness, give them a little bit of a rest as well. We are hopefully not going to pick up any injuries over the international break. I'm back in 14 days' time. Nottingham Forest away. They're top of the league. They've barely lost any games this year. It's going to be tough. Okay, one international break later, we're back to take on Nottingham Forest. Sadly, it's also one injury later. NDIA made his debut for the Senegal national team and then returned injured. He won Championship Young Player of the Month for March. He was sensational lately. He's now out for the next few weeks. Yeah, less than ideal considering how critical this point in the season is. I did use the international break, though, to pick up some rather exciting young players. Of course, Ballardo we agreed to sign in January. I've covered this guy before. I like the look of him a lot. But alongside him, we have another Spanish player joining us, Joffrey Rasseter. This guy won't be joining us until next January, because he's only 17, but he is a very exciting centre-back with bags of potential. We've snapped him up for £64,000. Again, it's one of these youth Spanish players. Guerrero came through. Maybe Rasset here is going to be another player to add to that list. Another player we've picked up who I'm very excited about, Roger Ospina. We've signed a Colombian. Yeah, we've not got a Colombian in our team, so tick that one off the collect one of every nationality bingo card. This guy is a good championship striker with some real Premier League potential. He is inconsistent, so a little bit of a concern there, but this guy is 19 years old, and to me, he just has like the makings of a really, really good advance forward. I don't know, I like the look of this guy a lot. He looks like the kind of guy, if we can really get working in our team, could run away as kind of championship top goal scorer to me. And last but not least, one other player who's not officially joined us yet, because we're waiting on a work permit, is Ryusei Ichikawa. This guy is amazing. Now, I don't really need more playmakers or advanced playmakers. But when I saw this guy at 18, I felt like I had to try and get him. 900? No, I thought I was going to say £900,000. No, tell a lie. £750,000 we're paying for this guy. He's got 17 vision, 14 passing. He's got really, really good mentals. Definitely lacks in the physical department and maybe a tiny bit in certain technicals, but his raw creativity and really good mentals mean that I figured he was worth a punt. We are at a point now with this save game where if I can sign players like this guy and they develop for the first team, amazing. If not, I'm really viewing these transfers as somewhere maybe we can sell them on for profit down the line. It's obviously the easiest way to make money in Football Manager, selling players. Anyway, they are 4 players that we'll worry about next season, quite where we're going to be or where they're going to be involved in our team next year. I mean, it's still kind of up in the air. We are in 7th place, just as a little reminder. Sunderland do sadly still have their game in hand. Of course, it is ridiculously competitive. We've got 6 games left of the season after today's game. This one, the toughest of the bunch. Nottingham Forest in this universe, a very good team. Relegated a couple of years ago, but heading into this year, they were the media's darlings. Their key man is Boyce Clark, their Jamaican international goalkeeper. Once upon a time of Reading, now he is a star player for them. Elsewhere, though, you can just see, looking at their team sorted by value, they've got some very good players. Alanga is still at the club. Diamande, who's a very, very good wonderkid in the context of Football Manager. He's here now, aged 29. He looks phenomenal for this level. And yeah, I think it goes without saying, today's going to be tough. So for today's game, couple of changes off the previous one. We are changing things up with Masters coming in over João Victor to play as the Segundo Volante in the team. Lloyd Jones, of course, the left-back we picked up in January. He comes in for NDIA, who is now injured. And elsewhere in the final third, Ngoma back in the starting 11. Hopefully he's going to have a point to prove. I really, really want to renew his contract, although at the moment, he doesn't want to sign a new contract because he's waiting on the fulfillment of a promise before considering his future. We've talked about this before. There is an issue with that promise. That issue is I have no outstanding promises. I'm not sure what promise he's waiting for me to fulfill, but maybe he'll be happy at the end of the year. And at the tip of our attack, Madder is going to come back in today for Hines. Hines didn't have the best of games last time out. Madder, I feel like he's got a point to prove. I have already done the away day at the City Ground last year in Park to Prem, hence the fact we're getting straight into this one today. The reality is any kind of points we get here are massive, but a defeat here, and if other results go against us, sadly, with what a handful of games left of the year, realistically, we'll be expecting to go into next episode with an end of season wrap-up and probably ending up just outside the playoffs. It's still been a phenomenal season. A result here would probably end up being the highlight of the season. It's going to be really tough to do. But never say never, because Sanchez is going to whip it and Gasperi is unmarked. He's got 2 goals in 2 games. It's his 8th of the season. 3 minutes in, we have our noses ahead. Sanchez whipping the ball in on his right foot. Gasperi, just the seas parted around him. It was like Moses going through the ocean, no woman around him, and well, he's headed it in. I think it was Moses who split the sea. I can't remember. Someone let me know. I tell you what, our defence looked like they were trying to part the sea there. We just left them completely unmarked. Luckily for us, they don't have a header as good as Gasperi. Right now, we are up to 6th place. This is not a drill. We are back in the playoffs, but there's still a lot of football left to be played here. Alanga scored. Why did I say anything? Tell you what, that Anthony Alanga guy, he's quite good, isn't he? Yeah, he picks up the ball, runs inside and scores. Well, we were in the head for a little bit. Ultimately, even a draw here probably isn't going to be enough in the grand scheme of things to help us on our way to the playoffs. Obviously, things can change quickly, as we've learned this year. But at this point, I am kind of bracing myself off the back of that result against Sunderland last time out for the fact that we're probably going to end the year with some disappointment. Unless we can make something magical happen here, which, I mean, I'm looking at Lloyd Jones waiting for magic to happen. Masters, edge of the box, shoots just over. There's 5 minutes of added time at the end of this first half. It is going to come and go. Bizarrely, in spite of the fact we're not winning, I'm actually pretty happy with this performance. This Nottingham Forest team are just a different level in terms of championship teams. They really should just be back in the Premier League. Okay, I've got shouty with the players at half-time. We've got an alarmingly high number of players on bookings here. Lloyd Jones at left-back is on a booking. I'm going to make a change and bring in Mamadou Dia to play left-back. He can naturally play there. I'll say now, he's not exactly my ideal left-back option. Defensive mid-wise, we've not looked good here. João Victor I'm bringing back in, and Well, I don't have another defensive mid. Ricardo Sanchez, I feel like we just kind of have to keep on. We've not really got another player like him. And for those of you that maybe have newly established a Gillian fan club wondering, where is Gillian? He's 16. He's not allowed out at weekends. No, he's just played a game with the under-18s. We've got him available for the youth team. And sadly, they had a game on the same day as us, which superseded this game here. Although maybe it's best for his development that we don't rush him into the first team too much. We are on the attack here, by the way. Sanfei wide to Dia. Can he channel his inner NDIA? Sanchez, João Victor could go right, does go right. Ricky D, time and space, don't give him that. Madder has just bagged a goal. It's his 6th of the year. It's 2-1. That's what we wanted to see to start this half. Lovely build-up play here. Nottingham Forest, really compact, narrow defence here. Really difficult to break down, but Ricky D afforded some time and space. Great ball in, and a really good finish at the end of it too. Maybe we're not out of the playoffs just yet. Maybe. I mean, I've kind of jinxed it now, I feel like, by saying that. But we are going to fight for this spot to the end. Tamala for them, though, is now bringing it forward. That scares me. Malone into the box. Options queuing up in the middle. They've got 6 players in the box. It's played in. Waters' efforts blocked. And Goma half clears it. Could we catch them on the counter? I mean, they are not keeping players back here. They are not respecting us. It's a 3-on-3. Sanfei. Yeah, that was not a great effort from range. I would like to point out at this point, we've had 31% of the ball and we're 2-1 up. We are really FMing them at the moment. They've created so much more than us. And Goma, I've noticed, has picked up an injury. Oscar is struggling as well. I might make some changes there, but we might have a little bit of an attack to deal with first. Ball is going to be switched over towards Ricky D. Wins his header, but that is not where he needed to put the header. I've bigged him up so much this year. He's just broken my heart. Ricky D, mate, I love you. I love Ricky D. You love Ricky D. We all love Ricky D, but what is that, you absolute dingus? It's 2-2. Right, and Goma's picked up an injury. I'm going to take it off and be safe. I'm going to bring in Kamara, I think, to play as the shadow striker. Really like the look of this guy. Need to give him some minutes. Cole K maybe can feel a bit hard done by not to be featuring in this game, although I could still feature him. I'm going to make a change here. Faye is going to move into pressing forward. I'm going to bring in Cole K as well. I'm bringing on 2 young centre attacking mids. I've got one last sub if I want to use it. I don't even know where I'd use it at the moment. There's still 15 minutes left. Let's go with 4 changes for now. A draw's still not terrible here. A draw could prove to be a critical point, but knowing that there are kind of 5, 6, maybe 7 teams challenging for the last playoff spot, any points dropped is going to feel disastrous in the grand scheme of things. We need to fight here. We need to try and dig deep. We have been underdogs throughout this year. In this game, we have been second best in so many different ways, which I don't think has been a common trend this year. But this Forest team, they've got quality, and while they are on the attack here, a ball being worked on this near side. Balumi for them, getting in behind. Players queuing up in the middle, and Gasperi, who's already on a booking, gives away a penalty. And now Nottingham Forest with a chance to put their noses ahead in this game to take a 3-2 lead. I'm looking at Kinski, hoping for a miracle. And I mean, that ball has just been smashed down the middle, hasn't it? As far as penalties go, that was one of the hardest hit penalties of all time. I love the fact that Kinski dived down the middle. Go figure that one out. Football Manager animation's better this year on goalkeepers, apparently. Okay, we're in the 88th minute. One last roll of the dice. The reality is setting in, though, that this team that we're playing against, they're just too good. Just as a reminder, their wages are so much more than ours. It's actually ridiculous, the difference. Nottingham Forest comfortably the top spenders in this division. How much added time is there going to be? 6 minutes to be added on. Is there to be a late twist? Is there to be a late goal? I want to hold out hope. That hope has just been vanquished. It finishes here. 3-2. The silver lining, if there is one, we've injured Elanga. So, yeah, that's maybe slightly happier. Does that make me a bad person? Elsewhere, sadly for us, so many teams around us got the results they needed. Charlton with an away win. Brentford with an away win. Wrexham with an away win. Sunderland and Stoke. I don't think Stoke played. Sunderland drew. But, I mean, they've still got a game in hand over us. In a season where we were in 6th place with 10 games left, we could end up finishing in, like, 12th. Which is sad. Fortunately for us, Ngoma's injury is only for 1 to 2 days, but as far as fortunate news goes, that is literally the only good news today. So there are 5 games left of the championship season. We are now 4 points off Wrexham, who are now suddenly in the playoffs from absolutely nowhere. In our remaining games this year, we take on Oxford, Cardiff, Brentford, Ipswich, derby. I don't know how significant some of these games are going to be because so much is going to be dependent on what happens in and around us. I think the general plan of attack is for me to play some games and come back tomorrow for an end of season episode. It might be a case of that we just do the derby game and play a load of youth players for one final game this year. Maybe put a spotlight on some players who haven't featured quite as heavily in the first team. I am thinking for players like Jude Soonsup Bell, this might have been his last season here. It'd be nice to put him in the spotlight one last time. Of course, the optimistic part of me wants to think, well, maybe we could still be in it, but let's be real, that's unlikely. Either way, whilst it's hard to not feel a little bit disappointed, it has still been such a good season, and with some of the recruitment we've got going on, the future is looking bright. Heck, with some of the players in our youth intake, Gilliand, I'm looking at especially. Let's be real, we're here in a really good position here at Rugby Town. Yes, we're losing almost £1 million a month at the moment, but we've got money in the bank. It'll be fine. Disappointing episode, but you can't win them all. Next time out, we will be ending the season. I hope to see you guys for that. We'll do a nice end of season wrap up, do a squad review as well heading into the summer. Catch you next time. Take it easy. I'll chat to you in a bit. I'm out.